Vladimir Putin, the Russian president responsible for the Ukraine invasion that now results in a war that has been raging for a year now, may have finally found a serious threat to his authority, and to our surprise, it came from his allies. Will they end Putin and his attacks soon? Hi, welcome to our channel. Today we're introducing a topic that has been going on for a while. If you're curious about the war that Russia started against Ukraine, and if Putin is bound to fall soon, then this video is for you. We'll be talking about the Wagner Group, the Russian mercenary group first identified in 2014, and the mutiny they led against Putin's military forces and leadership. Before we start the discussion on the Wagner Group, do you think they are powerful enough to go against Putin? Tell us your thoughts in the comments below. So first, let's get to know who the Wagner Group is. The Wagner Group is a Russian private military company that gained international attention in recent years. It is known for providing mercenaries and military services to various conflicts around the world. The group was reportedly founded by Dmitry Utkin, a former Russian Special Forces officer, and it operates under the umbrella of the Russian government, although official connections have been denied. The Wagner Group first gained significant attention for its involvement in the conflict in Ukraine, particularly in the Donbass region, where it allegedly supported pro-Russian separatist forces. There have also been reports of their involvement in conflicts in Syria, Libya, Sudan, and the Central African Republic. The group's activities and role are somewhat shrouded in secrecy, and they often operate covertly, using tactics like deniability and anonymity. They have been accused of human rights abuses and violations of international law in their operations, like other armed groups. The Russian government has neither confirmed nor denied its connection with the Wagner Group, although several investigations and journalistic reports have provided evidence linking the group to the Russian military and intelligence establishment. However, official reports today say that Yevgeny Prigozhin currently heads the mercenary group. Prigozhin is a Russian businessman and entrepreneur who gained prominence as the founder and head of the CONCORD catering company. Prigozhin has been involved in various business ventures throughout his career, including a network of restaurants and catering services. His company, CONCORD Catering, became well known for providing food services to schools and the military in Russia. In 2010, he was awarded a government contract to supply meals to Moscow schools, which helped his company expand significantly. Beyond his business ventures, Prigozhin has gained international attention for his alleged connections to the Russian government and his involvement in various controversial activities. He is believed to have close ties to Russian President Vladimir Putin due to his reported catering services for the Kremlin. Now, Prigozhin is reported to have an association with the Wagner Group, the Russian private military company discussed earlier. Reports suggest that he has funded and supported Wagner's operations in conflicts such as Ukraine and Syria. The Wagner Group gained recognition in 2014 when it became known for its involvement in supporting pro-Russian separatist forces in eastern Ukraine. During this time, they reportedly played a role in the annexation of Crimea, a region in Ukraine, by Russia. The group's activities in Ukraine drew international attention to their operations. Apart from their activities in Ukraine, the Wagner Group has also been active in other regions such as Africa and the Middle East. While specific details and locations of their operations in these areas may vary, their presence and involvement have been reported in various conflicts and security-related situations across the continent of Africa and the Middle East. Before their engagement in the Ukrainian conflict, the Wagner Group was believed to have had approximately 5,000 fighters in its ranks. These fighters were predominantly composed of veterans from Russia's elite regiments and special forces. This suggests that the group recruited individuals with significant military training and experience, which likely contributed to their effectiveness in carrying out military operations in different regions. But Prigozhin, while announcing his intention to organize a March for Justice in Moscow, claimed to have authority over 25,000 troops under his command. Now, this March of Justice is what will take us to understand the dispute between Wagner and Putin. Now that we've introduced the Wagner Group, what are your thoughts about them so far? Could they claim victory against Putin? Now let's go into details of the Wagner Group's mutiny against Russian military forces. In June of this year, Russian President Vladimir Putin condemned an uprising led by the leader of a pro-Kremlin private military company, which he described as a betrayal jeopardizing Russia's war efforts in Ukraine. In a national address on Saturday, Putin stated that those responsible for organizing the mutiny and turning against their fellow military comrades would be held accountable. While not mentioning names, Putin's speech appeared to directly target Yevgeny Prigozhin, the head of the Wagner Group, who had been formally charged with inciting an armed revolt by Russia's Federal Security Bureau. Prigozhin had made public accusations against the Russian military's top leadership, alleging lethal attacks on his soldiers and expressing his intention to forcefully remove Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu. Prigozhin also claimed that his forces had gained control over several military installations in Rostov-on-Don, a significant city in southern Russia that serves as a logistical hub for the Ukrainian conflict. In response to the situation, authorities implemented anti-terrorist operations in Moscow and Rostov-on-Don to restore order. Hence the Wagner Group's March of Justice in Moscow, calling for the dismissal of the nation's highest-ranking defense officials due to purported shortcomings in the Ukrainian conflict. In a recorded message shared on his Telegram channel, Yevgeny Prigozhin countered President Putin's accusation of treason, stating that the president was profoundly mistaken regarding who the real betrayer of the country is. He further emphasized that neither he nor his fighters would surrender based on orders from the president, the Federal Security Service, or any other authority. Ukraine then saw this as Russia's weakness, as the chaos continued to unfold within them. According to an advisor to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, Russia's elites have remained conspicuously silent. Mikhailo Podolyak took to Twitter, stating that the following 48 hours would determine Russia's future path: either a complete civil war, a negotiated transition of power, or a temporary pause preceding further decline of the Putin regime. Podolyak characterized the current situation as critical and uncertain. Yevgeny Prigozhin remarked that, throughout the conflict, not a single drop of his fighters' blood had been shed. However, he acknowledged that the situation had reached a critical point where bloodshed was a possibility. To prevent this outcome, Prigozhin stated that he had given the order for his forces to change direction and return to a planned field camp. This sudden change in course seemed to momentarily halt a political crisis that had emerged from ongoing tensions between Russia's military leadership and Prigozhin regarding the progress of the military campaign in Ukraine. The resolution of the crisis also seemed to receive assistance from Alexander Lukashenko, the authoritarian leader of Belarus and a close ally of the Kremlin. Then, the Russian Federal Security Service decided to close the criminal investigation into the uprising led by Yevgeny Prigozhin, the leader of the Wagner Group, and his associated forces. According to the Kremlin, Russian President Vladimir Putin held a meeting with Prigozhin a few days after the unsuccessful mutiny launched by the rogue paramilitary leader. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov confirmed the meeting, stating that it took place on June 29th, approximately 1 week after the failed uprising. Peskov added that President Putin invited a group of 35 individuals, including all detachment commanders and the management of the company, which included Prigozhin himself. The information was reported by Interfax, a Russian newswire. Prigozhin's surprising mutiny has sparked doubts regarding the extent of Putin's control over power, particularly in the context of growing dissatisfaction surrounding the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. The mutiny, as depicted in the new documentary Putin's Crisis, serves as a metaphorical illustration, suggesting that Putin's authority may not be as unchallenged as it appears. The event raises the possibility that others within Putin's inner circle could harbor ambitions to oppose him, prompting the Russian leader to question the loyalty of those around him and contemplate potential threats to his leadership. When Putin addressed the public, denouncing the mutiny as a betrayal to the country and its people, former U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine, William Taylor, observed a visibly shaken man. Taylor noted that Putin's demeanor reflected anger rather than a composed state of control, indicating clear signs of panic. According to insights shared by journalists and former U.S. State Department officials, this situation marked a unique experience for Putin. Throughout his more than 20 years in power, he had not encountered a significant challenge to the monopoly of state authority. Another journalist described the mutiny as a remarkable and unprecedented moment, emphasizing the magnitude of the event and its implications. While the Wagner Group was not exactly successful with their short-lived uprising, this marked an evaluative time for Putin, as his authority and power were seen to be shaken by what Prigozhin and the Wagner Group pulled. The Wagner Group may have stepped back from making any critical movements right now, but who knows what plan they might have devised without Putin knowing. Another question is, will another force like the Wagner Group try to threaten Putin's power? This situation in Russia inspired a lot of interesting thoughts as to what's next for them after Wagner's mutiny, so we'd love to know yours. Comment on them down below. If this video helped you learn about this topic, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and make sure you hit the notification bell. Thanks for watching.